attention. Dad logic ahead may include questionable math, directions that involve about yay far, and proof that duct tape fixes anything.
It's time to rethink men's health. Because it doesn't just affect men, it affects us all. When men are well, the benefits ripple through families and communities. But when men are unwell and unsupported, we all feel it. We're all the real face of men's health. Be part of the solution with Movember.
Hey, welcome back to Dad Space, the podcast for dads by dads. It's Movember. No and Mo. Sounds like a couple of the Three Stooges. Movember, it's the time of year where we focus in on dads, on men's mental health, physical health, and all things mustache related. Welcome to Movember. 30 episodes in 30 days here on Dad Space. Glad to have you here with me. And let's jump in. We're going to talk about friendship. Now imagine a cowboy and a space guy. And imagine if they were in a movie and the two of these people from different perspectives and different backgrounds became best friends to the point where "You've got a friend in me" is rattling around in your head. And one says, "To infinity and beyond." And the other one says, "There's a snake in my boot." Now imagine that. I should make a movie. What would I call it? I'm not sure. Anyways, a story about toys. Maybe that's what I would call it. Anyways, two characters who become fast friends. And at first, they're opposites. They're enemies. They come from two different places. But through a series of events, they become friends. And friendship is one of the things that, when we were younger, seemed to be just natural. Play dates? Remember those? Yeah, they were just like, hey, two parents get together and say, "I think my son, my daughter should hang out with your kids." And they force us to play with each other. It's like, you will be friends now. Okay, right? And we don't have that as adult men anymore, really. Maybe our wives will push us a little bit. You know, those times where we get together with your wife's friend's husband, and we're side-eyeing each other. We're looking at each other like, really? We're going to pretend to be friends now? Okay. So because our wives are friends, we're now friends. Hi, I'm Dave. I'm Bob. Nice, Bob. Nice to meet you, Bob. What do you do? Right? And it doesn't work. It doesn't click, right? Creating friendships gets harder the older we get. Why is that? Why is it? Was it just because we're grumpy? Or we're settled? Or we're picky? Or what? What is it? Because for me, besides people I meet through podcasting and online, the in-person friendships that I have, they're not that great. I gotta tell you, they're not that great because I'm just not, I'm an introvert, first of all. So meeting people in the real world, IRL for you people at home, is not my go-to thing. I am much more adept, both of those, to meeting friends virtually or on my own terms. And my in-person friendship circles, I think, well, if I look at my phone, there's probably a couple people I could call right now that I know in real life. I don't even know if they'd answer, to be honest. They'd be like, why is Dave calling me? Dave never calls me. Yeah, that's my thing. I'm an introvert, right? So I think as men, speaking to myself as well, that we need to increase the value of friendship. We need to make this a priority. It's what this month is all about. It's about Movember, men's mental health, not feeling alone in this world, you know, all these things. It's something that we should really, really think about and put some effort behind it, because if we don't, who's going to, right? And I think I think our partners, our wives, are a little bit concerned about us because we're not putting ourselves out there. We're maybe not the most social person in the world, hand raised. We need friendship. It matters. And we need to make and keep dad friends. It's something we need to put some time into. Friendships are vital for our mental health. They help us to feel supported emotionally, and overall, our well-being is better by having friendships, having people in our lives that we just laugh with, we hang out with, we're real with. We don't have to put on some fake facade. It's just we get to be us. Especially fathers who often face stress and isolation, friendship is key. There's a lot of loneliness happening for men right now. A lot of loneliness. I want to explore on this episode why dads need trusted dad friends and how friendships help us to navigate fatherhood. I got some tips for you on making and maintaining these important connections, these dad friends. I'm glad you're here. Let's jump in. So a reminder, this is Movember that we're doing this episode in. Movember.com is the website. Not only is it about communication and talking about men's mental health and men's physical health, it's also about raising money. So through Movember, you can donate. You can raise money through fundraising opportunities this month. And it goes back to helping men like you and me. So go to Movember.com, check it out. Links are in the show notes and everywhere. And wherever you are in the world, go participate. Be part of this. I think this is something we can all be actively focused on this month. And that's why there's 30 episodes in 30 days, because we're really focusing in on Movember. So please take a look at that. So the importance of dad friendships for our own mental health. Why is this so important? Fatherhood can be very isolating. It can be very stressful. And if you're a single dad, even more so. With many dads experiencing increasing anxiety and loneliness and mental health challenges during the phase of fatherhood, research is showing us that fathers without close friends report higher stress levels and depression risks. And having meaningful friendships, it acts as a protective factor and a source of emotional support for dads. So if you're feeling lonely, if you're struggling with your own mental health, my question for you is, who's in your corner? Like, who are you connected to that you look forward to being with? And if you don't have a good answer at the top of your brain right now, then that highlights an opportunity to develop those friendships. The great thing about having kids is it puts us into context and connection with other people about the same age as us in social circles, like picking up your kids at school and the hockey game or the basketball game or the football game or baseball, whatever. You are in and around other people your age who are parents of sports kids or whatever, music parents or fill in the blank, cheerleader parents, whatever it is. You're in the same room with a bunch of other people who sometimes would rather be somewhere else, honestly, but they're there because of their kids. So leverage the opportunity of being around people around your age group simply by putting your radar up around events and looking around the room. See who's in the gym, see who's at the ball field, see who's at the practice, and go, who do I feel comfortable around? Who do I feel like I could spend time with here? Who resonates with me? And in those moments, that could be the start of something great. Interesting, though, as our kids age out of sports, those connections can, if we don't feed them, they can fade away. Because your son's not taking taekwondo, so you're not going to taekwondo classes anymore. You don't see Harry at taekwondo every day or every Friday when you go to class with your son. And you and Harry just grow apart. So you need to be intentional if you're going to build your relationship around your children's activities. But find some dad friendships this month, in Movember, to make this a better situation for you. Again, if you don't, nobody comes to mind immediately when you're thinking about your own mental health and your loneliness and who can you turn to, you need to make this a priority for yourself and for your family. Why friendships often drift during fatherhood. I see a lot of young dads really struggling with this. You were a single guy. You had your friends. You did a bunch of crazy stuff and you were out all night doing whatever. Then you get into a relationship. And your relationship is your own priority. And that's important. You got to build that relationship, right? And in that relationship, your friendship suffers. Because you don't have as much time for your friends. Makes sense. But you really value that relationship. And that's your partner. That's your wife. That's the person you care about deeply. So when you pour your life into that person, then you have to give up some of your time with your friends. And you build that new relationship. Then you had children. So now if you had any sense of time left for your friends, it's definitely been eaten up by 3 a.m. feedings and diaper changes in the middle of the night and a lack of sleep and work and balancing and all this and money and stress and And your friends are feeling it too. So they're also on the same journey. Life changes, such as marriage, kids, busy family schedules. They often mean that dads spend less time maintaining their friendships and more time just being a dad, being a husband, being a partner. Unlike mums, who tend to manage their social calendars better than dads may let friendships fade unintentionally. Like that's not on purpose. We give. We're always the ones to provide, give our time to our family, yet we don't give time to ourselves. And I think that as dads, we need to learn to be a little bit more selfish and a little bit more intentional so that we find the people we need to help us through those moments where we do feel lonely, we do feel overwhelmed. I had it just recently where I just feel so disconnected because of stress, work, money, everything, job, that it's really hard to balance mentally. And I've been really struggling, really, this month. And that's why I'm here talking about this. And there's someone else that's feeling it too. So if you're out there and that's how you feel, I'm with you. So how does strong male friendships support us as fathers? Authentic dad friendships provide accountability, advice, and encouragement for us as dads. And it helps us to model healthy adult behavior. When we're surrounded by kids all the time, we might become kids. We might become that extra child that our partner has to take care of. We need to surround ourselves with some people a little bit more our age. And developing these friendships is one step forward in that. It helps us as dads to acquire the skills needed to be present, emotionally available fathers and husbands by building those relationships outside of our homes. And these friendships protect against pressures that cause men to withdraw and to become more and more disconnected. You know the dad who is in the garage working on wood projects, changing the oil in the car again, putting around doing things on his own, and happy as a clam to be completely doing things by themselves, but desperately longing for friendship. It might look like we're busy, but we're also lonely. So we need to develop this. And this strong support for fatherhood comes through friendships? What about the power of shared experiences and being vulnerable with each other? This is another element to things that we need as dads. So if you're a dad like me, you think you can do everything yourself. You think you got it all figured out and you don't need any help, right? I got it. You're the type of dad who brings all the groceries in from the car in one trip, right? Why go back out for 2 trips? You shut the trunk with your head because all your hands are full and you're carrying everything, right? Yeah. Sometimes you need to be a little bit more vulnerable and accepting help from others. That takes a lot of skill to accept help. And I think as dads, it's something all of us can do a little bit better. We can build relationships and not be the answer to every question. I think we're always so geared towards fixing everything, whether it's relationships, whether it's money, whatever it is that's happening in our life. We're the fix-it team, right? We're there to fix that flat tire and fix the lawnmower and fix this and fix that. Sometimes we need to be fixed. We need some of this. Well, that sounded bad. We need to be the ones who are vulnerable and open for other people to speak into our lives. I think that we don't do that enough. And I think that's what this month is about, is that we can create that space and allow people in. It's something that we could really, really benefit from. So what are some ways that we can make and keep new dad friends? Like, okay, it feels really 101, but maybe we need to hear this. Schedule some regular meetings, activities such as barbecues, dad-child outings, fishing trips, something where we're going to get together with a bunch of dads. Car shows, that's fun. Grab your kids, head off to a car show with a bunch of other dads. That's good. Golfing, mini putt, bowling, I don't know. A video game thing, I don't know what you can do, something. But schedule it. Don't just wait for it to happen. You initiate. You be the one. I tell you, there's a bunch of other dads wishing you would. So do it. And reach out to those introverted dads like me who probably would never go unless we were asked or gently pushed or nudged or dragged there. Don't forget your quiet, introverted dads too. They need you. And use technology to stay connected. Phone calls, texts, whatever, social media, whatever you got. Join community groups, parenting classes, or online dad networks. Wherever dads hang out, be there. And be intentional about investing time and effort in your friendships despite busy schedules. Life is always going to be in the way. And if you don't make this a priority, it will never happen. Be intentional and encourage open communication and vulnerability with your friends and among the people that you connect with. What are some of the long-term benefits of dad friendships? Long-term benefits of dad friendships. Strong friendships really help us to improve our emotional resilience. Being able to not be so reactive all the time, but proactive. It helps us to reduce our stress, promote healthier relationships with our spouses and our children, and also to combat this overwhelming sense of loneliness that a lot of us as dads face, whether we're young dads or later on in life. The loneliness that I'm experiencing is based on an empty nest. The loneliness that you're experiencing maybe as a new dad is just missing your friends and being so caught up in day-to-day life with kids and all the pressures. So keeping close dad friends helps fathers be better role models and maintain balance in their lives. So big takeaway for everybody as you listen to this is we need to put a lot of value into friendships. And if you haven't valued them as much as you should, you need to. And you need to find 1 or 2 people. It doesn't have to be a whole room full of people. We're talking to 1 or 2 people that really get you, that you enjoy being around. You feel lighter. You feel energized. They don't suck the life out of you being around people who are constantly negative. Get somebody positive. And I like the idea of 3 people in my life that I need. I need somebody who's further down the road than I am. So maybe if you're a young dad, an older dad could be helpful. But someone who's doing life at a different level than I am, someone I attain to be like. I want to be like that person. I find them inspiring. That's the first one. Second person I need in my life is somebody at the same level that I'm at. Maybe the same age, the same family dynamics, something. We're like 2 people who would do well rowing in a canoe together, right? We're on the same page. And everything that we're experiencing, to the most part, is relative. We really relate. So that's the second. So I have somebody I look up to, somebody who's like me, and then the third person is someone who looks up to me. Someone who's behind me, looking at me, going, oh, I'd love to have time with that guy. And don't forget that person. That's somebody you can reach back and help. So someone you're looking up to, somebody that's like you, and someone who looks up to you are the 3 people you need in your life. Who are they for you? Go identify these 3 people and build those relationships with these 3 guys. And I think you'll break out of some of that loneliness because you have this new circle that you feel accountable to, and they just build you up. So don't be lonely. Don't cut off these friendships. Maybe it's time to rekindle some friendships. Maybe it's time to go start brand new ones. But be aware of their surroundings and focus on the people who are there for you, because they're there. You just might have to look a little harder. Thanks for being here. Happy Movember.
Hello. I'm classically trained actor and fine woodworker Nick Offerman. A few of you may know me as Ron Swanson from NBC's Parks and Recreation, but let's be honest, most of you know me for this. And this Movember, I'm here to instruct you on how to properly grow your very own. Developing my mustache required years of training. I brought it to Scotland, where sheep herders tamed its unruly I then studied with Tibetan monks who combed it like a Zen Every garden. Day I washed it with cologne, whale oil, and beef dried it over a campfire of peat and turf. And the bulk of you will end this month with something atrocious on your lip. The rest of you will be passable, but in the spirit of awareness, I wanted to offer a few simple ideas of my own that can help a novice grow a full and thicker mustache. Hammer and nail. Send a regular handwritten letter. Capture a household bug, then set it free. Tolerate a crying baby. Smell wood. Move out of your parents' house. Gain the trust of a dog. Sweat. Don't shave your upper lip. So get ready for the single manliest journey of your life. And be sure to tell your friends, this mustache is a Movember mustache.